Hi, I'm Sydney Zendejas, and the essential question that I chose for this 2-week period was, what is the role of school in society? The question that I'm focusing on during this presentation is, how can we teach children who are learning on different levels? Tyra Tripp suggested to have students work in groups among their peers. That way they can learn from one another and they can discuss what you have taught and bounce ideas off of one another. As well as she suggested to teach students individually as well as in a group. So instead of just lecturing all the time, or instead of just having them all work in groups to come around, teach students, maybe ask them what they're struggling with, and that way you know what each level student is on and how you can best help them, what they might be struggling with. In our online textbook in reading number 9, the author Kierkegaard, I'm not really sure how to say his name, he talked about how there's no one right way to approach a problem. Students are going to come up with a solution differently, and if they do that, we can't get mad at them for not using the same route as every other student, but we should actually praise them for thinking up a different way to reach the problem, to solve the problem. And it is also worse to stop trying than it is to be wrong. As if a student gets an answer wrong, we need to encourage them to try again, and that progress is more important than to be right, to get the right answer right away. It's also important to know students as individual personalities, because that way we're able to know how we can best teach them and how they might learn better. One student's going to learn more with visual aids than another student, and we have to be able to mix up our teaching techniques to help each student. There is a paper I found, and you can put it up in your classroom, and it's to stop students to say, "I don't get it," and that instead they have to explain the different ways that they tried to solve the problem and what they might still have a question about. And that way they don't just give up after one try, but they're able to keep trying, and that way exactly what they need help on. In conclusion, it is our job to come up with different ways to teach. There's no right way, because each student learns differently, and so we have to teach more than just what makes sense to us in the way that we learn, but to know how to help our students and how to keep things interesting for them. We need to allow students time to figure out a problem. In Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, there's a chapter that talks about math and about how we need to give students more time to figure things out than we do currently, and to also know that each student is unique.